Hello everybody, hope that you are good. I think it's time to make this video. It's a broader market update, especially focused on the altcoin market, and it's a scenario that I have on my mind that I want to share with you, just so you are prepared for it in case it does happen. Again, we don't know if it'll happen or not, but it's worth being prepared for it, because if it does happen, I believe it'll be a great opportunity, perhaps the last one, to get into alts before they have a good leg up, okay? Or as is going to be my case, I'm already into alts, but if this opportunity comes, I'll use it basically to get into my final spot positions, okay? To add size to my already current backs. Now, we're gonna start with Bitcoin, then we'll go through the Bitcoin dominance chart, then we're gonna go through Ethereum, and I've chosen 11 altcoins. Some of them is because you requested them yesterday on my post on X, so yeah, I got a few altcoins there, more than 10, so it's possibly going to be a longer video than usual, but that's not a problem. Just get a drink and bear with me. So let's go with Bitcoin. In the higher time frame, we've already analyzed this move before it happened even. Basically what we're seeing here, the potential breakout, retest of the trend line. We saw that this breakout was going to happen because, again, this came to the 50% level, to the mid level of this channel. So that was to me the sign that it was going to be a breakout here, okay? Because again, when you're in a channel, breakouts don't happen from the bottom of the channel. They usually come, if you notice, to the 50%, to the mid-range. Then they come here, breakout, retest. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but we were hoping for it, and then continuation to the upside. So yeah, very happy to get that move. Also the retest. We didn't try any shorts during this leg up, so that's where many people make mistakes, because they were thinking that, okay, this is gonna be some kind of fake out and price gonna reverse back down and continue in this channel for some more months. And those liquidations is what fueled the move up, okay? Then when we were here around these levels 90, we saw this trend line. We're gonna go into the 4 hours time frame now, and we saw the potential of this trading setup that so far is been playing out over the past few weeks. It could continue still do so. I'm gonna go through the invalidations, but first, the reason why I was supporting this plan was because the move seemed very, very extended. Look at this, okay? Pay attention to the 4-hour 50 MA. The 4-hour 50 MA, usually it gets tested frequently. You can see it, okay? Usually does. And when you see overextension from the 4-hour 50 MA like this, that usually is calling for a pullback into it, okay? Now, because we were very close to 100k, I was thinking that pullback must have come before we hit 100k, because it's a very psychological level, very strong psychological level. The same as, for example, if you go into the S&P, you're gonna see the same, okay? Look what happened at 6k. At 6k, price doomed, okay? And it went, I think it dropped, how much was it? 3%, okay? That for the S&P, to be honest, is quite a lot. So it doesn't usually break above a psychological level in the first attempt. It usually take 2-3 attempts. So perhaps now the S&P can break above it. If it manages to hold support here around 6k, then yes, it can continue going up high, okay? Same for Bitcoin. So if you go back to Bitcoin, then the same applies. It was not likely that it broke past 100k in the first attempt. Perhaps it'll take a few more attempts, okay? Something like this. Then yes, it can continue going higher. But in the first attempt, it usually doesn't happen, especially when it's such a round psychological number like 100k. Also, because the move was so aggressive, there were many new traders. That's why you can see, for example, the Coinbase app escalating into the rank of most downloaded apps in the Apple Store or in Play Store, And that's because many new people were coming into crypto in this area here, and they were buying Bitcoin, they were buying altcoins, Ethereum, Solana, and they were going to take profits in Bitcoin at exactly 100k. That's why it didn't get hit, because the market maker is not going to hit those take profits, right? It hit exactly 99,588. That's how this game works, okay? And that's what you need to be ahead of what the market maker is really going to do, or that's the end goal in my opinion. Now, this structure here, is it bullish or is it bearish? Okay, so in a high time frame perspective, this is not bearish at all, okay? This is in fact looking pretty good for continuation. Go again to the weekly time frame. Why is this bearish? Not at all, okay? You can see price going up, no problem. I don't see any bearish structure. The only thing that concerns me is in low time frame, because in lower time frame you can see that right now we are below the 4-hour 50 MA. You can see it's been testing as resistance for quite a few days, and that could signal that it's possible that a new leg down happens, okay? Now, of course, the validation is going to be, in my opinion, to get back above this trend line here, because that means that this would be a deviation, okay? So the first thing is to get back above this trend line here. That's the first sign. And then if we can actually sustain above 98k, that is telling me we're gonna go to at least 104, 105k. That will be my validation, okay? But so far what I see is that the most likely scenario is that we continue going lower, either from the 4-hour 50 MA or from testing again this trend line around 96k and then continue going lower. I have two levels where price could find some support, and in my opinion those would be 88k, but 88,500, okay? You can see there, this was the first resistance, then it became support a few times, so that's an important level. Also there are a few liquidations around that level, and the other one is to take the lows around 85,000. Personally, I don't see much lower than Bitcoin could go to. I think you'll find at least, I think in the worst case scenario, and possibly what is more likely to happen, is that Bitcoin comes to the lows, sweep the lows, get back above them, find support, and continue trending higher. And here is where the opportunities come. I've been saying these guys since we were here. I was saying price is likely gonna go to around 96k, mid 90s, 96k especially. That's where I'm gonna take a short, okay? And this pullback here is where the money is made, because if we can get into altcoins during this pullback, there is gonna be great opportunities, especially, let's go down to the Bitcoin dominance. Perhaps I'm going too fast. I hope that you guys are following, but there is a lot to talk, so let's get into it. Now, the Bitcoin dominance, for the last few months, we've been marking the same level, 61.5%, okay? We're saying around 61, 62%, then I came with this level. You can see how that level has been perfectly hit, okay? And I do think that it's likely that we go to 52%, 50%. And that drop here, not sure if it will be an Altseason, because an Altseason also depends on Bitcoin. I'll tell you what an Altseason is. Altseason happens when the Bitcoin dominance goes down while Bitcoin goes up. Then altcoins are gonna pump really hard, and that's an Altseason. However, if the Bitcoin dominance goes down but Bitcoin ranges, okay, altcoins are still gonna go up, but that's not called an Altseason because it's not the same. You're not gonna see altcoins doing 50% each day, right? Maybe you see them doing 15%, 20%, but it's not as strong as the past Altseasons we've seen. However, I do think that, I'm not sure if it's going to match with Bitcoin going up or with Bitcoin ranging, but in either way, I do think that it's very likely that Bitcoin dominance goes down and that Bitcoin doesn't drop, okay? So I'm supporting the theory that altcoins are going to be doing really well for the next 1 to 2 months. Okay, that's in my opinion where the opportunities come, and I'm telling you this when I've never been bearish on the Bitcoin dominance. I've never called for an alt season before this. You guys know it. That's why I love Twitter, because everything is written down with dates, and you can see my past tweets. So yeah, I've never called for an alt season before. In fact, when there were some influencers calling for alt seasons here or here, I was telling you guys, don't listen to it. Bitcoin dominance is looking bullish because first of all, it's breaking from this range, then it's testing it as support, and it's going to continue going up. It's going to fill out all these imbalances here, okay, that right now are filled. So yeah, I do think that Bitcoin dominance have very good chances to start retracing from this level, from that reaction. Perhaps it comes back up and drop. In my opinion, right now that seems to be difficult. Perhaps it goes again to 59-60%, and that's when you can see it's starting to go down sharply, okay? But in either way, altcoins, in my opinion, are gonna have a very good run over the next few weeks. Again, 1 to 2 months, very likely. So, in my opinion, this is where the opportunities come. Now, if Bitcoin, let's go back to Bitcoin really quickly, just for a second. If Bitcoin is going to continue retracing, okay, either from the 4 or 50 MA or from this trend and resistance, if it's gonna continue retracing, okay, and make new lows in this very low time frame trend, even possibly taking even the lows here, that is going to make altcoins give you some very good entries, and we're gonna go right now through them. I hope that this part was easy to understand for you, that you are all following, because it's the most important part, is the context. If you don't have the context, then you don't know what's going to happen. So, well, in fact, we don't know what's going to happen, but we can use the context to make some plans and to be prepared for them. Right? So, that was the first thing I wanted to mention. Then, if we check the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart and we go into the weekly time frame, you can see that right now we're having a pretty good reaction from here. My level is 0.03018. We haven't hit it yet. Perhaps we don't. It's around 5% lower. Again, perhaps we don't. And prices start to go up from here. Well, prices, I mean Ethereum versus Bitcoin. It starts to go up from here. Okay, then possibly recovering all these levels. But what I mean is that if we actually continues going down, I do think that there'll be a very good reaction from this level, and I'm not expecting it to go any lower than that, okay? So yeah, that's basically telling you that Ethereum is going to start outperforming Bitcoin soon, if it's already not gonna do it from now, right? And from then, the cycle goes, Bitcoin does well, then Ethereum outperforms Bitcoin, Ethereum starts to do well versus Bitcoin, and then altcoins follow, right? And that's where we're gonna have an alt season. So everything is setting up nicely for the altcoin market to go up. Also, and I'm not much of a believer of the seasonal trends or the monthly trends, but it's true that Ethereum usually does pretty well after Thanksgiving. There are usually some good rallies after Thanksgiving Day. That's around the corner, so who knows? Maybe it's actually a real thing and it continues with that trend. Now, if we go into Ethereum and USDT pair, let's have a look. We want to start now talking about the potential pullbacks and buying opportunities that I'm paying attention to, which I think that they are going to be quite shallow rather than deep. This is my Ethereum chart here, and I do think that this level here is going to hold, and that's 3,000 for several reasons. I have 3 reasons, and I explained this on X, but I'm gonna go through this again on video. The first thing is that it's a psychological level, 3,000. That means that there is going to be a lot of buy limit orders set there that could push price up. The second thing is that we have the daily 50 MA, which usually it's a very good trend indicator. You can see here that for a downtrend, it starts here. when we lose the daily 50 MA and we are testing a resistance, then again there, okay, then we overcome it. So we're gonna have psychological level, daily 50 MA, and also a support that is already established. You can see there. So I think that this level here is going to hold. Now, I'm not sure if price will give us this buying opportunity, especially because the Ethereum versus Bitcoin pair is doing fantastic right now. So it's possible that we don't come all the way here, but we actually do a higher low, okay? Perhaps somewhere around 3,150, something like that, all right? That's what I'm trying to get. I think that if we get any pullback or any dip in Ethereum, we should, again, no financial advice, but it's recommended based on the context to get into those dips, because Ethereum is going to start outperforming Bitcoin very soon. So if we are bullish on Bitcoin on high time frame perspective, and we think that Ethereum is going to soon start to outperform Bitcoin, of course you want to get into Ethereum, right? So any dips in Ethereum is for buying. Those are buying opportunities, right? So yes, maybe somewhere around 3,150. If we are very lucky, then around 3,050. But those are the areas that I'm looking at. If Bitcoin drops to 88k or 85k, and potentially from there, of course, we're gonna go into the highs, okay, 4,000, another psychological level, and from there we're gonna see the reaction. But perhaps you have something like this, okay, some consolidation and continue going higher. I don't know. We'll see near the time. Next altcoin, Solana. I'm gonna first go through the ones that I covered yesterday on X very quickly. These ones, Solana, one of my favorite altcoins. It makes a lot of money on fees. So it's a project that can continue evolving, improving themselves, and of course reaching more people, more projects in the ecosystem, and the prices should continue going high, okay? So yes, if we get something like this, that'll be perfect, because if you notice here, you would be aligning a deviation below the previous high, and also a support test from the daily 50 MA that I like so much. You can see here, guys, support, then prices do leg ups, okay? So if that happens again, what's gonna happen? Another leg up from there, all right? So that's the level there. If we can get somewhere between 210 and 205, perfect. That's what I'm looking at, okay? Next one, DOGE. DOGE have been the most cheeky, because I don't think that this is going to get triggered, or I do think that this one is the least likely to get triggered. But if it does, I'm buying, and that's why I like to share these setups, because if they actually happen, then you've been prepared. Maybe you can leave some buy limit orders there, and if we are lucky, then we're gonna be very happy. And Dogecoin, what do I have to say? Elections, Dogecoin in the government. You have Elon Musk there. This is gonna go high. This is gonna go really high. And again, going to the daily time frame, is extremely overextended. But it's Doge, and Doge at this time, I don't think it's gonna give you a deeper pullback than this. All right, if we actually do, which again, I'm not sure if we will. I'm being quite optimistic here, to be honest. Optimistic in the way that I'm gonna be lucky. But again, it wouldn't be a surprise, because I'm gonna leave some buy limit orders here. But I'm not expecting it, okay? I'm only hoping for this. So that's Dogecoin. Then also yesterday we talked about TIA. So let's have a look. This is a project that I've been in since basically this area here. Although I've done a few buys, I remember I did a buy here at the daily 50 MA. Then we came lower, did another buy there. So at the end, my average entry is 478.1, I think it is. So pretty much is a ×2 from here, but I'm not selling yet. Okay, I think that we are, or at least should go to 12. you can see in high time frame that this is some kind of range to consolidate and to load up for the next leg up. Now we're above the range highs, we're consolidating there, no signals that we're gonna get back inside the range. So to me this seems a consolidation above support before the next leg up. So yeah, I'm not selling any single token yet. I'm being quite greedy with this one because I think it has the potential to go to 11.87. okay, that's what I'm selling, and possibly at least I'm taking out there 75% of all my holdings. All right, although again, yeah, it's possibly that it goes to 20, but that's what I'm taking most of my profits there. Another one that I talked yesterday on X was ENA. This one is quite strong. Not sure if we'll get it. I remember that I entered here at 0.34, but I took profits too early. I took my profits at 0.49, I think it was, so around here, in this area here, quite early, then continue rally. I want to get back in it with a good size, so I'm hoping that we get a pullback, but I don't think we're gonna get a pullback lower than this. Okay, in fact this is too high. It should probably be more like this. So if we narrow the area, if we are again very lucky, somewhere around 0.49, 0.50, that would be great. But for that we need Bitcoin to continue dropping. Okay. Again, if this happens, I'll be very happy because I've been trying to get into this into a good size again with this token for a few weeks. Now, excuse me, I'm gonna use my phone because I have in notes a few altcoins that you guys have been mentioning in yesterday's post. So I see, so you guys have been tagging me a lot with this altcoin here. I think I've charted in the past, perhaps even in YouTube. I'm not sure, but I have here some drawings. And what I see here is that okay, we had some kind of a range, then the breakout, then a deviation below the range, then it goes up, a small pullback, goes up. It looks quite strong, to be honest. Okay, this looks quite strong, and I see an efficiency here. I see a liquidity pool there, and that's exactly a 105. So we should in theory expect to reach this level here. Okay, 105. That's the level I would be expecting it to reach, at least. And if I look for potential buy entries, I see it quite difficult because it looks quite strong. It feels like this would be an altcoin that we should have got there area below 0.40 and just held for a long time, because to enter here seems quite difficult. Perhaps if we are lucky, we can get another entry at the 4-hour 50 MA, because if you notice, it's been tested quite frequently, but it goes up quite steadily. So let me check this. To me this looks like a small, I repeat, a small range, something like this. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame. Okay, and now if we change the liquidity pool, the 50 MA, and we'll put the one in the 4 hour time frame. Alright, perhaps it's possible we could first see a deviation here, okay, above the range highs, but it does seem that price should come again to the range lows, perhaps even a sweep of the lows, that deviation there, and that's what I will look to enter. Okay, so around 0.60 and 0.59, I think that's the area that I would like to enter. Okay, if we get that, it's not much of a pullback. I think it's a 10% only when I'm thinking more of a 15-20% in some altcoins, but it's true that this one is quite strong. So if you want to DCA in because you are not already in, or you took profits too early and you want to jump back in, like it happened to me with ENA, then I do think that 0.60, 0.59 should be a good first place to enter. And then if you are lucky, and I repeat, if you are very lucky, then perhaps you can look for somewhere around here, okay? Somewhere around this area here, this box, between 0.54 and 0.52 as a second entry. But that one is perhaps stretching it too much. I don't think we'll get there, personally. But yeah, those are the two levels that I have for you guys. Okay, more, the lithium. This is one of the projects that I like the most. You guys know that. Hang on, what is my chart of the lithium? That one there. So far, it looks like a very tight support and resistance range here, and I'm expecting to at some point break above this resistance here, test it as support instead of resistance, and then continue going higher, okay? And yeah, for this one, I do think that has the potential to break above this level and go to plus $1. That's what I'm thinking that will happen in the next Altseason. And for this one, I'm not holding anything. Well, I'm not buying anything in a spot. All I've done was to buy some notes that they generate some daily tokens. They generate me, I think it's 17.5 tokens each note per day, and I don't have to log in or anything. They just do it automatically. So that's the way that I'm getting exposure to this project. I remember that I bought the notes in March this year. I remember I made a video about it, or I mentioned it in a video. So far, I've already paid for half of all those notes. I have at this moment more than, I think it's 16 notes in total. So the goal is that eventually price goes up and I can get all my money back from those notes, and then I can run them as long as the project lives for, because those notes don't have an expiry date, and I can get all those free tokens, which is passive income over the next few years. Okay, that's what my idea with the lithium. So yeah, hoping that the project does well. So yeah, I do think that eventually we want to break this resistance and trending higher. Okay, and this looks very similar to this other token that is called Tao, or TAO, I don't know how you say it, but it's also artificial intelligence, same as the lithium, and it looks very similar because you can see that it's quite a tight range here of support, resistance. I remember that in the last, I've got two spot entries. One was here, a 415, I think it was 415, and the other one was a 485. So those are my two entries that I have on this token, and again, I do think that eventually will break above this resistance here, okay, tested it as support, which we couldn't do in the previous two times, tested it as support, and then continue going higher into 850 and 100 at least, okay? So then that's probably when I'm taking profits. You also got a very nice week there, alright? So look, in fact, if we get the 50% of this, that is taking us to 880, okay, pretty much what I said. So that's what I'm gonna take most of my profits, 880. So those two tokens there. I have more for you. I've got 4 more. I got Sui. Let's have a quick look at this. Okay, in the last video I mentioned Sui, and to be honest, we nailed it, because we were talking about, when we were at 2.10, we were talking about a 25% correction in the altcoin market, and it happened exactly to our level 160, based on history, based on what happened here previously. Okay, it happened the same thing there. So yeah, I have a good history trading this altcoin here. I hope that it can continue being that way. So let me try to chart this. It's quite strong at the moment, but look, the 4-hour time frame, I see something very clear already, and it's these lows. I don't think that it's very likely that we come back to these lows. Okay, perhaps another deviation here, sweep of the lows, and then price to continue going higher. So somewhere between 285 and 275, that would be my area to buy Sui, okay, or to long it. That'll be the area, in my opinion, if we get that. How much of a drop is this? 15%? Yes, around 15-17%. it matches with my idea on Bitcoin. Okay, so yeah, that's the chart there for you guys, pretty fast. The next one is Arbitrum. Let me have a look. Okay, these two levels are outdated, so let me get rid of them. Okay, the first thing that I see here, if you go into the weekly time frame, it'll be easy to see. It's very interesting that the top was an M pattern and the bottom was a W pattern. Quite symmetrical the way this altcoin trades, to be honest. In fact, you can see better in the daily time frame. I've just noticed. Now, what does usually happen with M patterns and with W patterns? So if you look, guys, here with the M patterns, you develop the M pattern, you drop, you have a retrace, you continue dropping. Okay, now it happens the same with the W patterns. W forms, lack up, retrace, continuation. Okay, this is the retrace that I'm looking for. Now, if you go into the let's go again into the daily time frame. I see a potential pivot here, this area here, 0.81. Let's go down to the 4 hours time frame and let's remove this. Matches with the 4 hour 50 MA there, I see, which it has been consistently tested, and then we see leg ups from there, so perhaps we get again there. Okay, and in the worst case that level doesn't hold, then we have here another potential support that is right here. Okay, so or even here if you want to be safer. So this one seems quite deep, to be honest. That would be quite a deep pullback, and I'm not expecting deep pullbacks. Okay, so that one I don't like it. I think I like more this one, somewhere between 0.81 and 0.79 if we are lucky and we get it. Okay, somewhere around there. That is the area that I would like to see Arbitrum trading into if Bitcoin drops low. Okay, then from that area we can continue going higher, somewhere like this. Okay, not much of a pullback, quite shallow, must be around 10%. Yeah, it's around 11%. I don't see Arbitrum going much lower than that, if I'm being honest with you. So if we get it, then well, that's a good buy opportunity. Now, Chainlink used to be one of my favorite altcoins of all times in the past, I remember. To be honest, it trades very nicely, and we've got very good moves on this one. And I have a good history trading in this coin in a spot. I remember I made a video that before this happened, saying that we want to see a deviation below this range, that would be a great buying opportunity in a spot. We got it, 520. Then what happened to me is that I remember that I sold half of my position here at the range highs, and the other half of the position was here, so in this area here. Alright, by the way, this is very similar to what is happening to TIA. If you notice, TIA is right now in this precise moment here, and now we have to go towards this level, towards that pivot. But anyway, that's the way that I got in and out of Link. Then in the last altcoin market update that I made, and I was talking about the possibility that the Bitcoin dominance was quite strong and that the altcoins were going to have a big drop. We were talking about these three buying areas. All of them got hit. Look at the last buying area, the lowest one. It got exactly tagged there, very, very close to it, but it got hit. And right now I'm on Link. However, I want to take profits quite soon on Link because I prefer to get into other projects. I'm a bit bored of this project, to be honest. Now, the area where I'll be potentially taking out 75% of all my holdings, it'll be around 30, somewhere around there, because I do think that that'll be a quite strong resistance from a psychological point of view. So if we get there, then I'm getting out of Chainlink quite heavily. And if we get a pullback, guys, it's quite difficult, to be honest. Let me see. 4 hour 50 MA should take these lows in principle. It should take these lows in principle if we see a pullback. Give me a little second. What happens in the daily? Yeah, take these lows. Take those lows and possibly trade into this level here. Possibly trade back into mid 15s, okay? So yeah, if we get a pullback, let me readapt this. Yeah, if we get a pullback, I do believe that I would like to see those lows taken out, and then this other level here to hold. So I do think that this box between 16.16 and 15.5, that's the area where I would like to see Chainlink trading into and holding for continuation to the upside to 30. Alright, that's what I think for Chainlink. And I only have one last altcoin that you guys requested. That was Phantom. Phantom is another altcoin that trades very nicely. Have some drawings here. Okay, you already can see what it is. Is the current trend, higher lows and higher highs, very clear trend, expecting a higher high in the higher time frame. Therefore, we want to get into longs. Okay, any pullback that we get, we want to get into because we're expecting a higher high. All right, now where can we enter? Let's go to the 4 hours time frame. Well, it seems pretty clear to me already. It seems pretty clear to me. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame now. Okay. It seems pretty clear to me that if we can see a retrace back to 0.94, which I believe that'll match with 4 hour 50 MA. So if we can get a retrace back here and it holds like this, then that'll be a good trigger to continue going higher into that higher high. All right, so I don't know how much of a pullback is this. I think it's around 10%. Yes, 10% pullback. Potentially could be even deeper, but that's at least the level or the trigger that I would like to get into for Phantom. I don't see any other clear triggers. All right, so 0.94 it is, 10% drop from here. If we get that over the next 7 days or so, that'll be great in my opinion. That'll be a very good entry. But for that, of course, we need to see the 4 or 50 MA and this support holding quite strong. So yeah, guys, again, I'm not saying that this is what is going to happen in the altcoin market. Okay, it's just a scenario that I'm keeping on my mind for in case it happens. But if you guys notice the total free, it's looking very good. Okay, this is the total 3. This is the total market cap excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. Okay, so this is pretty much stable coins and altcoins. And here you have meme coins, you have Solana, you have also USDT, you have stables, meme coins, altcoins, high caps, mid caps, low caps, pretty much the overall altcoin market. So it's looking like it's favoring the upside. Also, if you again align that with the potential Bitcoin dominance drop that we are potentially going to see, and also with the idea that Bitcoin should hold, yeah, daily time frame is fine, should hold in the potential scenario that we see a deeper pullback, also want to have the daily 50 MA to support us. So in theory, Bitcoin is only going to pull back to continue going higher, right? So based on all of this, we should be in altcoins. I do think that the video should be useful in terms of being prepared for a potential pullback, to get ready for a buying opportunity that perhaps it might be the last one. All right, so I hope I can guide you well on this one, on this take. So thank you so much for watching again. Make your own decisions, do your own research. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.